Hey all you cool cats and kittens, welcome back to Ashyfal'S kitchen. Today we're going to be making homemade banana bread. I made it about a week ago for my boyfriend and I, and he absolutely loved it, so I figured why not put it on the YouTube channel. It's vegan and it's gluten-free. It kind of just worked out that way because I'm not really shopping right now. I don't really have any eggs in the fridge or milk or anything like that, so super easy to make, very low minimum ingredients, and if you're interested, keep watching. The first step you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and then you're going to want to find your loaf pan. I have a 9-inch by 5-inch loaf pan right here. I sprayed it with some cooking spray, and then I cut a piece of parchment about the size of it and just laid it inside the pan, and then I sprayed that as well. This just really helps with easy takeout because you're going to want to remove the banana bread right when it comes out of the oven to help it cool. So we just prepared our sheet and we got the oven preheating. Now we're going to want to focus on our dry ingredients. We're going to have dry and wet ingredients. Our dry ingredients start with 1.25 cups of flour. I use gluten-free flour, but you can use all-purpose or you can use any kind of flour that you would like. And then we have 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That just goes right in right here. And then we have a full teaspoon of baking soda. That also goes right into those ingredients. So these are our dry ingredients. We're just going to want to give this a whisk to fully incorporate the salt and the baking soda into the flour. If you want to, you can sift your flour, but I didn't find that it was super necessary the first time that I made it, so that's why I just chose to not do it this time. Okay, so our dry ingredients are all mixed up. We're going to set this to the side, and now we're going to focus on our wet ingredients. I have 3 extremely ripe bananas right here. I bought them about a week ago and they just kind of sat out on the counter, so banana bread was the perfect thing to make. I'm just gonna break these up and set them in my bowl. And this is a great part where you can get the kids involved. Having the kids kind of mash up the bananas while you get all the other ingredients together is a perfect way to get them involved. Just gonna give my hands a quick rinse. And then with my wooden spoon here, I'm just gonna get in and kind of mash these bananas. This takes a little bit. This is why you really want to use super ripe bananas. The first time I made this, my bananas weren't nearly as ripe as this, so it took a little bit to mash all this together. But you really want it to be pretty smooth. You don't want there to be a lot of chunks of banana. So take your time, enjoy this moment, and just get mashing. I'm going to finish mashing these bananas, and then we're going to add all of the other wet ingredients into this bowl. So this is about the consistency that you want. You can see that it's very homogeneous, it's nice and smooth, and most of the huge chunks are out of the mixture. Perfect. So we got our bananas all mashed up. To that, we're just gonna add all of our wet ingredients. I have a teaspoon of vanilla extract that goes right in here. I have 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. I'm just using typical canola oil. You can use whatever you have. If olive oil is all you have, no worries. That goes right into here. I have 1/2 cup of, I have almond milk yogurt. If you have just normal yogurt, feel free to use that. Almond was the only thing that I had on hand. So that just goes right into here. I use plain, but if you have vanilla, that would work too. Any other flavor, I would just avoid, kind of stick with the plain or the vanilla. The first time I made it, I had vanilla on hand, so that's kind of just what we went with. And then I have 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Not a lot of people know that brown sugar is technically a wet ingredient, so you're gonna add that to this mixture right here. So we haven't added any flour to this mixture, so you don't need to worry about over mixing with just the wet ingredients. You really wanna fully incorporate all these ingredients into one another. So take your time on this. You can beat this for as long as you would like. No need to get out a stand mixer or anything. You can just mix this up with a rubber spatula like I'm doing here. Banana bread is a perfect thing to make when you're stuck at home, like how we all are right now. It's a great comfort food thing, and you can really get everybody involved in the family. And it's super easy to do. You just whip everything up, pop it into the oven for like 45 to 50 minutes. And the great thing about it is that as it sits throughout the days, it gets better. Like second day, third day banana bread is ideal. we're gonna grab our fully mixed in dry ingredients. We're gonna do this in about thirds. So we're gonna drop about a third of the batter right into this bowl, and then we're gonna do a folding technique. So what you're gonna wanna do is bring your spatula right down the middle and then turn. Right down the middle and then turn. So this is allowing all of the flour to absorb all of the wet ingredients. And you can spin your bowl as you're doing it as well. You wanna be pretty gentle. Once again, you don't wanna overmix. So once that flour is all incorporated, you're gonna wanna drop your next third in. And then once again, right down the middle, and then you're just folding the mixture over itself. So once this is fully incorporated, we're just gonna pop it into our loaf pan, and then we're gonna put it into the oven at 350 for about 40 to 50 minutes. Set your timer for about 35 so that you can keep an eye on it. You'll know the banana bread is ready when you stick a knife through it or you stick like a toothpick and it comes out completely clean. And then the last thing I wanna add is a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips and a 1/4 cup of walnuts. Chocolate chips aren't really optional. I think they're just so great in a banana bread, but if you are allergic to walnuts, you can absolutely keep them out. I love the crunch that they add because banana bread is so soft and moist. It's nice to have a little bit of a crunch from the walnuts in there. All right, and then we have our lined loaf pan right here. We're just gonna lift the mixture up, pop it in there, make sure you get every single bit in there. And if you wanted, you could add a little bit of raw sugar on the top to just make like a really sugary crust. But I think this is perfectly fine just like this. You're gonna wanna spread it out, make sure that it's kind of evenly in the loaf pan. And then right before you pop it in the oven, you just wanna give it a few taps. What that does is release any air bubbles. And then we're gonna pop this into the oven for about 40 to 50 minutes and make sure to check it after 35. Okay, so it's been about 50 minutes. After 35, the timer went off and I checked it. When I inserted my knife or my little toothpick, it was still a little moist, so I let it go for about 10 more minutes, and then it did need an additional 5. So this is the reason why we line the loaf pan with parchment, because we now have to cool it on a wire rack for about 25 to 30 minutes. So the parchment makes it super easy to release out of the loaf pan, and then we just pop it on our wire rack. I don't necessarily have a wire rack, so I turned this little dish thing upside down and we're improvising. So we're just gonna let the banana bread cool for about 25 to 30 minutes. We'll slice it up and then we'll taste. Time to taste. I personally love the edges of things. I love the corners of brownies. I love the end of banana breads, things like that. So the perfect slice for me is this first one. So I'm just gonna make a small little slice right here. It's not completely like chilled, but it's cool enough so that when we slice it, it's not going to fall apart. And then I'm gonna just pop this on my plate right here. You can see all the walnuts and the chocolate chips. I'm super excited, so let's go ahead and taste this. I love cooking things in a loaf pan because they get so crusty on the top, the bottom, and the sides, and then the middle just stays so unbelievably moist. This banana bread is so great. It's super easy to make. You have all the ingredients in your pantry right now, I'm sure. Be sure to try this out and let me know if you try it. Also, stay safe out there. Everybody stay home, and I hope everybody's staying sane and happy and just thankful to be here in all these times. Try my banana bread. I guarantee it will make your day.